Wicked is a movie.
At the end of it, they said, you have to be good and you have to be kind to everybody.
Whoa.
And she is a good witch.
With $500 million worth of global marketing.
Yeah, that's the message.
You know what I mean? It's that impact.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I think
She is a good witch.
Like, if like kids can feel that, then
Yeah.
Renegade Online. Gladiator 2 is going to have a very similar problem to Wicked in the next 2 to 3 days. And of course, that's Moana 2. Moana 2 is going to steal a lot of thunder. Moana 2 is also going to steal a lot of the premium large format screens, the PLF screens, the real high-dollar money-making screens out there. So I would not hold my breath. I'm not going to belabor the issue that Gladiator 2 has received not the best reviews in the world. This is a movie that, frankly, I have no interest in watching, and I'm a big fan of the original from 24 years ago now. Big fan of the original. This had nothing that I wanted to see. And I still question as to why it was even made. Let's go here, though. Let's go to Wicked real quick, because this is what's going to be interesting this weekend. And we've got a new article that just dropped from Deadline Magazine looking at weekend projections, including Moana, and where they think that this movie is going for the 3 and 5 day, in the case of Wicked, second weekend. We've got almost $145 million domestically so far for Wicked, and only $49 million internationally. Now, of course, with internationals, these numbers are lagging. That is really through Sunday. So we don't know what Monday and Tuesday have brought. I don't think we're likely to really have a solid figure on Wicked's international updates until Sunday this coming weekend. So we'll see how much that increases. But I want you to look real quick right now. There could not be two films that have a greater dichotomy running at the same time from a financial standpoint of domestic versus international. 145 domestic to roughly 50 international for Wicked. And again, 165 international for Gladiator, 67 domestic. Yeesh. Neither one of these things are really bringing it home. And here's the deal. Let's go to Wicked. This is a movie that, by all accounts, being based on what has been, I don't even know if we can say arguably, pretty much definitively, for the last 30 years, almost, that Wicked has been the Broadway hit. I mean, it has made a fortune. It has made, I think, billions, plural, on Broadway. This movie, you would think, should have no issue getting through $1 billion. And I think when Universal put this together, I think that Universal was looking at this as this could be or should be our best shot at Barbie, right? That was Warner Brothers' big hit last summer, which made about $1.50, $1.5 billion almost, I think, for Barbie. Wicked should have probably easily be able to get to $1 billion. But looking at this right now, the chances of it legging out to that point seem incredibly slim. Like, I don't know if this movie is even going to get to $600 million right now. And this is a movie, to remind folks, like we covered previously, this is a movie that reportedly cost, so far, $350 million with concurrent filming for parts 1 and 2. Of course, this is only part 1, but we got some news earlier this week that I cannot believe. I just cannot believe. Let's talk about what is coming down the pike for Wicked, though, because this is where it's about to get ugly. I think, again, deadline, Anthony D'Alessandro, this is today. This was released just before we went live. Let's talk about this. Moana 2 is easily hooking the best Thanksgiving opening ever at 170 plus million. Again, estimates. More records to be broken. Wicked expected at 92 million. Gladiator 2 expected 39 plus. Okay, let's talk. Because I'm wondering if this Wicked figure, I'm thinking they might be a little high. Let me explain. Anthony says the worst thing that a studio can do on a massive weekend like this is over-project. And if there's one thing about Thanksgiving forecasts, they always get over-projected. Right now, Disney's Moana 2 is putting up an estimated $54 million first day, inclusive of yesterday's Walt Disney Animation preview record of $13.8 million. This will host the Dwayne Johnson, Iuli Cravajalo, pardon if I got that name wrong, a sequel to at least 170 million plus at 4,200 screens, easily a Thanksgiving 5-day record, both for an opening, unseating Disney's own Frozen at 93.9 million, as well as a movie with the biggest haul over the holiday stretch, the former being Frozen 2 at 125. Now, of course, Frozen at 93 million over the Thanksgiving stretch, we're talking about 10 years ago now, or maybe 11. Did Frozen come out, was it 2013? A very different time. Ticket prices for movies like that are close to 75%, maybe 80% more than they were when Frozen came out. So when you start chunking in the math here, it's not all that far off from $170 million in 2024 ticket prices. The 3-day for Moana 2 is somewhere between 90 and 100 million. So when they say 3-day, they're talking about true 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not including previews going on yesterday, and then the first full day of opening today and tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day. Let's just keep a tab on this. Best opening for Johnson of all time, Dwayne Johnson, is Furious 7 at 147. Okay, so there you have it. Now, I want to go down here to where they talk about Wicked. We're not done yet. Wicked by Sunday will stand at $236.9 million, arguably the best ever stateside for a movie based on a Broadway musical. Burying Grease, $190 million, 5-day. On Wicked is estimated at $92 million. Today is $18.5 million, the Pix's highest weekday so far, 11% over yesterday. Now, bear in mind, there have only been 2 weekdays for Wicked thus far, Monday and Tuesday, that have been clocked, okay? And Tuesday, of course, is Discount Tuesday. More people tend to show up on a theater on Tuesday and buy tickets because the tickets on Tuesdays, for most places, including all the big chains like AMC, they have reduced pricing. But that being said, let me show you something. Yeah. 15.77 million on Monday, November 25th for Wicked. 16.38 million on Tuesday. It's only a 5% bounce. So it's not that huge. In fact, it's frankly infinitesimal for a Tuesday bounce. Now, to be fair, because we're always fair here on Valiant Renegade, to be fair, we are in a holiday week. This is Thanksgiving week, so the variance day to day, in theory, should be mitigated in that regard, meaning that you're not necessarily going to see as big of a bounce on Discount Tuesday as other weeks because the kids are off of school all week around the country, for the most part. College students, no, like I said, my daughter, she still had college classes today. She's driving home tonight. I don't know if she's going to go see Wicked, but I do know we're going to watch Arcane Season 2 this weekend. So we'll see. And as I projected on Sunday on the live show, I think that Wicked 2, in theory, should have a pretty strong hold through the week if audiences react positively to it, which so far they seem to have. But it still does not, and I cannot stress this enough, it still does not assuage the very noticeable problem of the box office thus far. Even if the domestic box office gets up to $400 million by the end of its run, which I think, if it actually does make it to $230 to $240 million by Sunday, I think that's a reasonable assumption, that it could do $400 million domestically. The international box office, however, and I realize, again, that there are still territories that are still outstanding, although there's not that many, and not many of them are that major. Let's say it makes it to 200 million, to 250. We're still talking about a movie that is likely to close out at maybe 600 to 700 million. And if you had a marketing campaign where the studio spent $150 million just to promote the damn thing, and you had another $350 million in marketing partnerships from places like Target, and you spent nearly $200 million shooting the damn thing, this is not a win. This is arguably a fail. Will the studio break even on this at this point? I would say that's likely. Are they going to make a bunch of money on it from the theater? It doesn't seem so. Unless something surprises, because again, I'm going to go back to this. The reason that this story is important is that Moana 2 is going to consume a lot of the oxygen this weekend. Not only in claiming screens, especially premium large format screens, it's also going to consume the audience for Wicked. This is largely the same audience. These are women. These are young girls, teenage girls, kids like my daughter's age, 17, 19 years old. These are young millennials, older Gen Zers, I guess, kids up into their 20s and 30s. There's going to be a lot of consumption here by Moana that's going to pull the oxygen out of the room for Wicked. Unless, they can head up a double feature like, hey, we're going to go see Wicked and we're going to turn around and go see Moana, or vice versa. Could happen. It could happen. But as of right now until Sunday, color me very, very skeptical. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.